back to Geeky Ent, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about the new HBO Max streaming service. What it is, what's the difference between HBO Now versus HBO Max versus your regular HBO subscription service, and is it worth getting if you like their new content? So, Mary, what is HBO Max?
HBO Max is a new streaming service that HBO just launched. It launched yesterday. I'm sure you've seen all the commercials and all the hype for it. It was heavily advertised with the new Friends special was airing on there. HBO's certain movies. If you guys have heard recently, which we're gonna make another video on this actually a bit later, but Snyder's cut of Justice League that was advertised for there. So it's just this really big thing. It's pretty much HBO's answer to like Netflix or Hulu virtually because everyone's getting into the streaming game at this point.
Yeah, essentially, cable, in my opinion, is a dying technology, and everything is going towards the streaming way. Um, like you mentioned, the Snyder Cut for Justice League is going to be exclusively launched on HBO Max next year, and that has been one thing that comic fans have been craving for because one, Justice League in itself was just, meh, but we'll be discussing that in a future video here. This today is going to be discussing what the difference is between Netflix and HBO Max and what it offers. Um, so the good thing is about HBO Max is that if you are a current subscriber of HBO Now, you automatically get upgraded to HBO Max. And what that means is you're still spending the same price of your subscription service per month, but now you're getting more additional content. Um, and from what I saw yesterday, it includes content from Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and more specifically DC. So
And
I
Studio Ghibli as
and
well.
Studio GB, but more importantly too, a lot of people have noticed and were disappointed that the show Friends was taken off of Netflix, and that was because now it is exclusively on HBO Max. I believe South Park is part of that deal as well. There's a lot of
Big
other
Bang Theory is on there as well.
Big Bang Theory is on there as well. There's a whole section specifically just for old school Looney Tunes, which is pretty cool. They also have original shows. There's one with Anna Kendrick. I don't recall the name on it, but there's a lot of good shows that if you haven't seen them, I do recommend watching them. A show like Barry. Um, oh my gosh, I forget his name. It's essentially like a Dexter type show, but he's not really like a bad guy. The show is called Barry, Barry. That is on HBO Now and HBO Max. Um, and specifically more, I did notice that Rick and Morty was on HBO Max, but I've already seen the episodes and stuff like that. I own them on Blu-ray, but it's just nice to have an additional streaming service where you can watch all this new content. Mary, what's your thought on HBO Max, and do you recommend it? What's your favorite thing that you might have noticed that's gone onto this new platform?
Well, I haven't had a chance to really dabble into it just yet. I legit only went on and made my profile. But I will say, just to add on to what you said, as far as with HBO Now subscription, from what I read online about it, it's not just people that had HBO Now. So the price point for HBO Max is about $15 a month, which is what you're paying for your HBO service with most cable companies and what you were paying if you had HBO Now, and I believe even Go. So that said, if you had Now, like Danny said, you were automatically, I believe, with Apple phones. I'm not sure about Android just yet. Um, your service was automatically upgraded to max, same price point. Certain cable companies have also partnered out a deal with HBO for that matter. If you already pay for the HBO subscription service through your bill, then you can log in through your cable provider. which you can see the list of all the providers on the HBO Max site, and log in with the details for that service or through that cable service, and you'll have access to it. That's how I got it because we're paying for HBO through our cable subscription, so we're automatically getting HBO Max.
Yeah, for me, I was paying for HBO Now through Apple, and all of a sudden it got updated to HBO Max, and I'm like, why? I didn't pay for this, and I'm like, the first question I asked myself is, am I being charged more money? But I'm like, what is the difference between Max and Now? And essentially, what HBO Max is versus Now is HBO Now specifically only had HBO programming that had their own movies, classic shows from them like The Sopranos, Curb Your Enthusiasm. However, now HBO Max has everything that's included with that, and you get all this new bonus content. Uh, I believe it's through CBS and other the TNT. I noticed that they were
Yeah.
heavily advertising that, so the Turner Network. But specifically, what caught my eye was the DC section, um, because when I saw the latest Joker movie pop up on there, I'm like, that's one movie that people, even if you're not a comic fan, should watch. It's just a great drama type movie. Uh, it. There's a bunch of other movies, Gremlins, Shawshank Redemption, Watchmen, and the Watchmen HBO series that unfortunately got canceled after season one. Um, but it's just one great new addition to the streaming services that offers a lot of content when it comes to watching TV at home during these times specifically. Uh, but the one question that did raise my curiosity is there is a subscription service called DC Universe that had digital comics, exclusive content, like original programming. One specifically that I'm currently watching that's very vulgar for a animated series is Harley Quinn.
Which I will say, if you have watched our previous videos, totally shameless plug, we have actually done a video with our review on DC Universe.
We
So
have. It's
check it
one
out
of
if you
our
haven't checked it
earlier
out already.
videos. I'll put the link in the description here. But all that content is now on HBO Max, so there's my thinking is why do I have to pay for DC Universe when I already have all this content on there? Kind of like here in Southern California, I'm still stuck paying cable, so I still get through partnerships with different streaming services like Adult Swim, so I can keep up with Rick and Morty. There's Hulu available as well. However, DC Universe versus HBO Max is the next question that I was like, what is going on here? So maybe Mary can elaborate because as far as I know, it's mainly just the digital comics if that's your forte when it comes to DC Universe.
Well, like I said, I'm not 100% sure as far as with Max because I haven't really gone into it, but I know the big premise behind DC Universe was everything was it was pretty much all things DC. So you have the original catalog for all of the animated, all of the original movies that you couldn't find anywhere else. Like Danny mentioned, you can access the comics and actually read them through the app without having to worry about, especially in this day and age where people aren't necessarily really working, going and trying to meet up with your local comic book shop to purchase the comic. You can read it digitally first, and if you really like it, then you can go and pay for it later. Um, DC also set up some rewards program. I don't know if you've read about it in your email, where if you
Uh,
actually watch certain shows, if you read the comics, you participate on the message board, you can get points and you can redeem those points in for cool swag.
oh, that I
So
did not know of because usually I just skip through the junk mail, unfortunately, because I get a lot of emails when it comes to that stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, DC Universe had a lot of great uh, programming, and we discussed it in depth on our previous video. But there's a lot of newer content that came out. One specifically, like I mentioned, is Harley Quinn, which season two came out relatively fast after season one. Um,
it did. And I'm actually still sad to say it. trying to catch up with season one.
So that's weird to hear coming from you, but
It is, but
uh,
I have my reasons, sadly.
yes, yeah, we all do. But it is a great animated show. It is not for kids, I can tell you that much. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of other original shows that caught my attention back when it first came out, and that was Titans, Doom Patrol, and also if you're a fan of the DC animated movies, that is also now on HBO Max. So you get
Oh,
all
wow.
all this new content that's kind of like double dipping in a way. However, you do get the option to choose the platform that you want. Now, the question people are going to ask is $14.99 a month worth it to shell out when the other big competitor Disney just came out with their own streaming services, which apparently has been killing it, by the way, profit wise. Like it was just a no brainer when you can get Disney Plus for I think it was like $8 a month, but if you want Hulu and ESPN, it's like $13. So not only
Mhm.
did Disney undercut the market, they knew that people were going to be buying their services. So it just happened to be that way. But HBO Max was something that if you don't have it, and you want to watch brand new content that's not on Hulu and not on Netflix, this is a great path to choose. It is $14.99 a month, and here's the shameless plug. You can start a 7-day free trial on it just to see what it is, what it's all about. The user interface on my Samsung television is very user friendly. Even the app on my iPhone is very user friendly, real easy to navigate around. And it's one thing that if it was me personally, I would get it just for the movies alone. I've been watching a lot of movies lately through HBO. I just watched Stuber with Dave Batista and oh my gosh, I forget his guy, but he's been in a lot of movies. Uh, what else did I watch? The horror movie Teeth, which I won't even get into. Uh, there's just a lot of content on there, but it was a lot of content to begin with HBO Now, but now they essentially doubled it with HBO Max. So I, for one, give it a thumbs up, and I do approve of the cost and what you're getting for the best bang for your buck. Um, Mayor, do you have any like final thoughts on HBO Max or what you advise to people before they make that decision to plunge into it?
I'd say just try it out, even just for the 7 days. I mean, you'll know before the 7 days is up if it's something that you're interested in keeping. I know I'm going to check it out specifically for the Cartoon Network stuff alone.
Yeah, it's got a lot of.
Classics on there that I'm looking for. So I'm hoping that they're actually going to be on the actual app itself
One thing I
since I
was.
can't.
Yeah, I was scrolling through the Cartoon Network section. It just brought back a lot of childhood memories like Dexter's Lab, uh, Courage the Cowardly Dog, I think I saw was on there, but it was just a lot of cool things to see. And of course, it's not going to be uh, up to date new content. So, for instance, like Rick and Morty is currently on season 4. HBO Max only has seasons 1 through 3. So it acts like Netflix where it's not your up to date current seasons. Once the new season gets released, in this example, season 5, season 4 of Rick and Morty will be on HBO Max, hypothetically speaking. Um, but that's who knows how many episodes they are going to have in their seasons. But that's just one example uh, for how it acts. So it does mimic the Netflix type uh, release. I haven't seen anything that releases on a weekly basis, like some reality shows on Netflix, but it's definitely worth the watch, like Mary said. So, um, any final thoughts, Mary, on HBO Max or streaming DC Universe?
No, like I said, just try it.
Just try, people. That's all
I
you can do.
wouldn't give up on DC Universe just yet, though.
That's
I will
true.
say that.
Keep it,
And
especially if
the
you're.
only reason why, sorry for cutting you off. The reason why I say don't give up on DC Universe just yet is because, like Danny pointed out, with Rick and Morty, they don't have all the updated stuff yet. And I'm thinking with it's probably similar to something that I realized last week with a other friend of ours. Stargirl just premiered on Channel 5 CW,
Hmm.
but it's also showing on the DC Universe app. it's showing at least from, I don't know, the premiere week. I'm not sure if it's like this continuously, but you got to see it a day earlier on the DC Universe app. So I don't know if that's a similar deal that they put up with HBO Max. So you'll still see all of the DC content on the DC app first, and then it'll go um, to HBO Max. No idea, but it's something worth checking out. And then HBO technically has all of these DC shows that they had with Guggenmeyer that he
Okay.
wrote. That's supposed to, from my understanding, go there. So it's something to look into.
Something to look
But
into,
like
but yeah.
I said,
And to
discount
piggyback
it.
and to piggyback off of that, if you purchase the year subscription for DC Universe, there's no reason to cancel it because they're not going to get you your money back. So that's our opinion on HBO Max, whether it's worth it or not. Until then, my friends, don't forget to geek out. If you guys like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe on our videos, and tell your friends about us. We are a growing channel. We are throwing out more content each and every day. So until then, my friends, we'll see you soon and have fun.
Just thank you for all of you guys that have stuck with us, from the beginning, for all the people that have just found us, and you guys are gonna continuously stick with us. Thank you. If there's something that you want to see, if there's something you don't like that we're doing, just let us know. Like, we're always open for ideas. We're looking at finding different ways to keep you guys, entertained, and so just let us know.
And after all, the Ent in Geeky Ent is geeky entertainment. So there you go. So until then, my friends, don't forget to geek out, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.